Hello, people of the internet. I've got a little bit of a different one today, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to upload this on my second channel, which I actually rarely use. Just because it's going to be a lot less actual editing and kind of focus on any sort of objective here. But I'm here to talk about just a personal experience, and that's the reason why I stopped drinking kind of like soda, pop, like fizzy, carbonated beverages, whatever you want to call it. Cola, I guess some people call it that. Um, and my personal experience with this, because of course this isn't me trying to like preach some self-improvement advice all of a sudden going, oh, you need you need to do this, you need to get up at like 6 in the morning, and make sure you've got like this done before this time or something like that, and just give you random advice. But it is a case of I've found that when it comes to sugary drinks, of course, sugar will make your mood improve. Like, it's almost undoubtable that that's the truth. And that's the case with most people. You're going to feel probably slightly better because, it gives you that kind of almost boost of energy. And of course, you may not be like a kid anymore and like get an insane rush of energy or something, and feel like you're, suddenly able to just do anything. But for all intents and purposes, you will probably feel better after having a bit of sugar than if you didn't. But the thing is the amount of sugar we consume in a day is actually like way more than we really should. And I've come to that realization because I have kind of started not completely cutting it out. I would like to probably get to the point where I, rarely actually drink any sort of soda at all. But the thing is I've cut out probably 90% of what I used to drink. So I would used to probably at max, like I didn't drink that much, but I have like a little bit of soda every now and then, probably most days. But there was this realization that after I went about a week without it, I felt significantly better. Like I had more energy than if I, like just kept drinking the like sugary drinks, just having all this sugar in my system. And it was this realization that, of course, you hear this a lot, and this may not drive it home, but you see those graphs. You probably hear it from your teachers when you were like, like younger, or from parents, or all those posters telling you about like healthy eating and how to avoid sugar. But it's a genuine case of it doesn't really drive home until you try it. And of course, I'm not here to try and convince you. This is just a personal experience. But if you want, try this. Try go a week without sugar, or try do what I do now, and that's only like have probably 1 or 2 sugar drinks max. Now it depends on how like much you want to test this out, but I probably have about half a liter max. So 500 milliliters max a week. And that, saying half a liter may sound like a lot, but when you compare it to, the average kind of canned like version is about 330 milliliters, depending on where you are. But that's like pretty sure that's about average for how much would be in each can. And the thing is it's pretty much just 1.5 of those a week. And it may be weird to say, but it is surprisingly hard because sugar is insanely addictive. It's incredibly addictive. It's like caffeine on the level of like it's not going to necessarily destroy your life, but once you have it, it's pretty hard not to continue a habit which supplies yourself with the substance, and it would be like sugar in this case. And of course, I'm not putting it on the level of like class A drugs. But there was this realization that I don't necessarily need much, and I feel kind of better. And I'm sure a lot of you watching, if you still are at this point, have probably had this similar experience, and that's a feeling of when you're younger, when you're a kid, you know that feeling of having enough energy to do almost anything? That feeling of just feeling kind of good in the most childlike way, just being able to, go experience life and almost have, more vibrancy in the way you experience it. It's like a more full version and more full feeling of life. And my realization is the fact that, well, I can start bringing that back. And of course, I've started kind of doing a lot of similar things, but this is one of the main things I've started doing, and that's cutting out insane amounts of sugar. Especially to the degree of like the amount I would drink on like a daily basis. Again, maybe even 1, 2 cans of whatever. So about half a liter a day. And that realization that, sure, when you're younger, when you have all this energy, you probably won't feel it. And this isn't some, long-term hope, what will matter when you're at your 40 type thing. But that realization that life feels a lot more alive afterwards. And it's kind of just been a little journey I've been on, personally. Because that feeling of kind of, again, the best way I can describe it is vibrancy to life. And the realization that it kind of saps it away, because once, sure, when you have sugar in your system, it feels pretty good. You're gonna have more energy, or at least you're gonna think you have more energy. You're probably gonna feel, sort of happier, I guess. Your mood will most likely improve. But you very quickly realize that it's like robbing that energy or that feeling of energy away from you in like an hour. Depending on how quick your metabolism is. I have a quite quick metabolism, so like it won't stay in my system that long. And of course, I don't feel great. And of course, the only solution is just have more sugar. Just keep having more sugar until eventually, you get diabetes. But of course, is that realization that in order to kind of have that feeling all the time, almost like the feeling of having sugar in your system and having kind of that energy, if you don't have that ton of sugar in your system, you suddenly have it. You have access to it like all the time. You kind of like unlock that that energy, if you will. And I don't know the best way to describe this, but this is my personal experience with it, and it's kind of pretty incredible to think that you get kind of so much more energy out of it. I'm not going to rant too long because this video is nearly 10 minutes long, but that's my personal experience. So if you want, and if you feel like it, try maybe once a week, have a little bit of soda or whatever. It's up to you. You can cut it out your diet completely. You can just go cold turkey or whatever. You can decide, like I'm going to go a month without it, and that'll be great because you'll be further ahead than me. But try to go as long as you can without it. And of course, you probably, like you might want it eventually, but try to go as long as you can without it, and then start. I promise you, you will see something. And of course, you're not going to, be as happy as you are when you were a kid. That's not what I'm saying. But what you will get is you will get kind of a lot more vibrancy to life, and it'll be closer to that feeling. But anyway, it's a little bit of a different video, and I know this is kind of preachy, but this is something I've noticed, and it's something I'm kind of like happy to share.